Much. Over to you, sir.
I was just going through your performer and last column, that is 21. You have mentioned two events, national and international events. Trump's election to the White House and Pakistan being placed on FATF's grey list. How do you think that with a change in American administration, Pakistan's prospects with regard to relation between Pakistan and America?
So basically, with Trump's, you can say, advent at the White House, all of a sudden things are starting to change, and you can say Trump is taking a very strong approach and cutting off all the, you can say, ties which Obama had made. For example, in the nuclear deal with Iran, Trump has decided to sever that as well. Trump has decided to come out of the Paris climate deal too. So this is going to have.
My question is with regard to Pakistan.
Right, sir. So with Pakistan, because I think there's.
Do you think there is any scope of improvement of relationship between Pakistan and America after coming into power of new president?
I think yes, definitely, sir. Whenever there is a new administration, there is always a chance to start from the start. Previously, we know that India has been accorded the status of the most favored nation as well, and American think tank is basically propping up India to contain China as well. Now there is a new administration in the White House, and but we need to be very strong diplomatically, and we need to lobby very strongly as well, and put the case in a very clear and a lucid way.
Don't you think Democrats have been historically opposed to Pakistan?
Sir, I think there has been a mixture of, you can say, strategies by both Democrats and the Republicans. But as I mentioned before, whenever there is a new administration and when they have a specific manifesto as well. So Indian lobby is very strong and they are able to portray their ideas very articulately and very properly.
Suppose you are assigned the job in foreign ministry and as a representative of Pakistan, how would you defend the interest of Pakistan? Rather advocate and defend interest of Pakistan. Speak for 2 minutes on this issue.
First of all, I would try to bring the attention towards the issue of climate change. We're one of the most vulnerable countries which are hit by the climate change as well, and America plans to invest into this particular issue too. So we need to present them the ideas that we are very far less contributors towards carbon. We need some funds and we need some modern techniques which can be shifted towards our country as well. Second thing is the trade element. We can tell them that already there is a very large room of improvement of FDIs. Pakistan is a very good country. We are making some laws for ease of doing business as well. So why not invest in Pakistan with respect to renewable energy resources as well? Third thing is the Afghanistan issue as well. We can tell America that we can be basically very much helpful for you as far as you plan to withdraw the forces from America, and you cannot do that without our help. And we can provide you with proper intelligence and with the influence on Taliban too.
The current government has provided certain incentives to industrial sectors to boost exports. Are you aware of that package?
Sir, I'm not really exactly sure about the exact package, but I believe, if you allow me to guess, it's regarding regarding relaxation in taxes, perhaps, and some other measures.
But there are various measures.
Right,
okay. Sir. Then tell me something about the corruption which is rampant in Pakistan, and government is clamoring to eradicate that. What do you think? How or what measures can we take to eradicate or to minimize this mess?
So to eradicate this corruption and to minimize it, either we need to be strengthening the institutions. The institution there need to be certain mechanisms which need to be installed, and we can.
Which mechanisms?
Yes, sir.
That is my question.
Right, sir. I would actually like to benchmark certain things from the private sector too. They have actually very strong laws and they have very strong principles, and you can say.
Be specific.
Right, sir. For example, they have the whistleblowing laws that is very much clear. The person who is actually, you can say, pointing out to some malpractices in the system, he is given the immunity and given some incentives.
Don't you think that technology introduction and more use of technology will reduce it?
Yes, sir. That was going to be the second point, the e-governance mechanisms. That will be very much important when all the transactions and all these things will be given online. The access will be given online and everyone would be able to check them as well, even common people. The accountability mechanisms will be strengthened itself.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bilal Zubair.
Yes, sir.
You are an engineer, such a high qualification you already have, and still you want to join civil service. What's the reason? Why do you want to change the profession altogether?
So there are basically two main reasons for that. One thing is that civil service ultimately provides you very much empowered. You are actually empowered to serve the people in the true sense. But in engineering sector, yes, you do get very good jobs as well, and I've worked in two multinational companies too. But your scope is quite limited. Here, you can say scope of work and the ability to provide relief and service to the people is very vast.
If I say that the scope in civil service is limited and you have a wide scope as far as private sector is concerned, what do you say about that?
So I would rather disagree with that because when you are appointed, let's say for example, as an assistant commissioner, you have multiple ways in which you can directly relate to the people and you are linked with the people directly and their problems. Whereas while you are working as an engineer, yes, you are producing certain things and you are adding value to certain instances, but again, you're working at a very, you can say, particular and a very specific industry. And one more thing which I would like to add to this is that on your personal level as well, the capacity building ability in civil service is quite large. On daily basis, you are facing dynamic and different kind of challenges, and that is ultimately adding to your own personality too. And I think this is why one of the reasons. And third thing is job stability. Job stability is a very important, you can say, element on my personal level too. And civil services provides you with that. In private sector, it is rather unstable.
You come from Lahore, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what are the biggest problems of big cities of Pakistan? And do you have any suggestions and recommendations to eradicate those problems?
So first biggest problem which I see is urbanization, because all the bigger cities have the maximum, you can say, facilities, and that attracts the people from other areas too, and that is why they are rapidly moving towards the bigger cities, and Lahore is one example too, and that is why it is expanding more and more. This is ultimately going to result in governance issues and you can say space issues too. So that this needs to be addressed, and this can be addressed in a way that.
Can you identify the problems?
Yes, sir.
One by one.
Right, sir. So in my opinion, there are three big problems. First is urbanization. Second is the water issues. And third, if you talk about Lahore, the smog issue. And that is related to the climate as well. If we talk about urbanization, we need to be providing facilities to other cities as well so that urbanization is curbed. And second element is that population is very much expanding too, and we need to raise awareness campaigns how to stop population explosion.
Similar problems are seen even in rural areas also. Then how do you associate these problems only to urban area like Lahore?
So because population is definitely an issue which is most likely more in rural areas as compared to urban areas, but the major toll because of this hefty population is coming towards the urban areas because of the urbanization. Most people move and migrate towards the urban areas because of the lack of facilities in the rural areas.
Okay, what is third law of Newton?
So action and reaction are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction.
Can you relate it to something in practical life?
I'm not exactly sure. Are you talking about some social issues or
no? Scientific.
So it is, you can say, seen everywhere. For example, rocket propulsion. Every particular phenomena is moving towards that. If we actually bounce the ball towards the wall, it comes back due to that particular reaction as well. Yes, some energy losses are, you can say, there. For example, friction. For example, due to some air friction as well, and the contact with the, you can say, wall, but it is always there, you can say, because everything is, for example, this particular table is placed on the you can say on the floor. A reaction force is there from the floor as well, and one particular force is applied by the table on the floor.
Okay, Mr. Bilal, analyze the relations of Pakistan with its neighbors like Iran, Afghanistan, India, and China.
So relations with China have always been really good, and they've got another boost because of the projects like CPEC and the other projects. And I believe they're going to be reinforced as well in the future as well because of the future nexus between America and India, which basically America is trying to prop India against China as well. So China understands the importance of Pakistan, and Pakistan understands the importance of China as well. As far as India and Afghanistan are concerned, so relationships with both these countries have not been really good. With India, Kashmir has been one of the major bone of contentions, and that particular issue needs to be resolved if the relations between these two countries are to be improved. With Afghanistan, there has been the issues of Taliban is there, the issues of terrorism is there, and there has been very, you can say, contradictions between both the countries, but the relations have not been good. With Iran, I think the strategy of Pakistan has mostly been seen with the lens of USA as well. When USA has imposed sanctions on Iran, we have not we have halted all the trade with Iran as well, which includes the gas pipeline projects too. But once the relations with America has been improved, our relations with Iran have been improved too. But you can say the relations with Iran have been fairly stable when we compare it to Afghanistan or India.
What's a cash crop?
So I believe cash crop is one of those crops in which are basically exported to the other countries in order to get the revenues.
Can you name 2, 3 cash crops
So
in
cotton,
Pakistan?
I believe cotton is one of them, but I'm not sure about the others.
Okay. Can you tell us certain steps which government of Pakistan has taken to upgrade the life of transgender?
So as far as the you can say transgenders are concerned, certain rules are being you can say made so that they can be incorporated into government services, and there's a particular quota as well for transgenders. And now there is a awareness campaign not by the government too, but from the you can say NGOs and civil society as well to incorporate them into the mainstream society.
Okay. Where is the location of Thal Desert?
So Thal is, if you allow me to guess, I think it is in Bahawalpur.
No. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bilal Zubair, you have studied sociology as one of your optional subjects.
Yes, sir.
What are the 3 perspectives of sociology?
So three perspectives of sociology are structural functionalist. There's a critical perspective as well, and there's the interpretive perspective of sociology.
Symbolic interactionist,
Yes, sir.
conflict perspective.
And the structural functionalist.
Okay. Explain the structural functionalist school of sociology.
So basically, structural functionalists consider the society as a part of a system. You can say a complex system in which different parts are interacting with each other in order to do the desired work. I would like to explain it with an example of a car. A car has different, you can say, components. Let's say tires, let's say engines. Although all of them are not equal, but they are contributing towards the car as well. So structural functionalists believe that every specific individual, every specific class or the gender as well has a certain role to play, and that role needs to be assigned to that particular class so that society progresses as a whole.
So, what is the contribution of Herbert Spencer to sociological thought?
So Herbert Spencer basically was again a structural functionalist, and he basically compared the you can say society with that of an organism, and he believed that societies are complex and organisms are complex as well, and they evolve from smaller to the bigger you can say size.
Okay, since you have worked with packages, so shed some light on the work of Frederick Taylor.
Right, sir. So Frederick Taylor basically gave the concepts of time and